From Livy becoming the world's most famous gymnast of all time, to the artistic gymnast's success undermining female gymnastics, here's how Olivia Dunne really became the face of college gymnastics. At 21 years old, Olivia Dunne has become one of the world's most famous gymnasts of all time. Forbes actually has her listed as the world's most followed athlete. To put this into context, Simone Biles, the American gymnast with the most gold medals at 23, has a total social media following of just shy of 9 million. Livy, on the other hand, has a total following of just around 12 million. Livy became the world's highest valued college athlete in 2022 after reports emerged that she'd made $500,000 from just one NIL partnership. In case you didn't know, NIL stands for Name, Image, and Likeness. It wasn't until 2021 that college athletes were allowed by the NCAA to profit 100% from their NIL partnerships. And since the rule was passed, several athletes such as Caleb Williams, J.J. McCarthy, Bo Nix, and of course Livy received compensation from their partnerships. The artistic gymnast is not only the poster child for female gymnastics, but also for the NIL. In 2022, she netted a total of $3.5 million from brand endorsements and sponsorships. Those are some pretty interesting numbers for sure. It serves to answer why Livy is seen as the face of gymnastics in the United States. Actually, scratch that, the whole world. Speaking of her gymnastics career, she made her elite debut in 2014 at the American Classic, where she finished 28th in the all-around. Then, she competed in the US Classics, where she finished 12th in the all-around. The next year, at the WOGA Classics, she was placed 5th overall and qualified for the National Championships, where she finished at 25th. Things kept going up and up for Livy, and she even managed to qualify for the national team in 2017. At her international debut, Livy finished 7th overall. By 2018, she'd made her senior elite debut and was allowed to compete in the national championships via petition. She also signed her letter of intent with Louisiana State University and started competing with the LSU Tigers gymnastics team in 2020. She was a part of the team when they placed second at the SEC championships. The team finished 5th next season, but was eliminated in the one after that. Livy didn't compete in any events for much of the 2022 to 2023 season, claiming various injuries, but she did make her season debut in February with a 9.85 on the uneven bars. So, it's pretty clear that Livy's a serious gymnast, but is she good enough to be considered the face of female gymnastics? If we were to compare Livy to the face of male college gymnastics, Brody Malone, he made the national team in 2017, the same as Livy, but he's actually still a part of the national team, whereas Livy only competed with them that one year. Besides that, Brody's the 2021 and 2022 US National All-Around Champion and a 10-time NCAA champion. Livy hasn't made it to the top 3 even once in her entire career. If you think that's an unfair comparison, there's also Jordan Bowers, who was the junior all-around gold medalist at the 2018 Pacific Rim Championships and is currently competing with the Oklahoma Sooners in the NCAA, which, by the way, is the top NCAA-ranked college gymnastics team right now. Where's Jordan's $500,000 NIL sponsorship? You see, Olivia Dunne is better than the average person when it comes to artistic gymnastics. That's a fact. But when it comes to other artistic gymnasts, she's the average one. Which really makes you wonder how come she's the one who's become a face synonymous with the sport. The answer's actually right there. The face of female college gymnastics isn't known for college gymnastics, but for being a pretty face. Livy joined social media sometime back in 2020. She started out as a rising TikTok personality who was known for her behind-the-scenes looks into the world of college-level gymnastics. However, as her following started to grow, Livy's content transitioned more into everyday lifestyle videos, fashion tips, and anything of that sort. There's nothing wrong with that. But Livy had already amassed a massive social media following by 2021 when the NCAA announced that college athletes could make money with their NIL. With the rule change, the first thing major brands did was scout college athletes who already had a massive enough social media presence. And obviously, Livy was right there with her millions of followers. Grubhub, Body Armor, and American Eagle all reached out to her for sponsorships and brand endorsements. Again, since she already had a massive following, her endorsements paid off well, and more brands started targeting her for their campaigns. All of this contributed to her $3.6 million valuation at the end of 2022. Livy's sponsorships were sports sponsorships. You have to remember that she had the build of an artistic gymnast, and everything that she promoted was in line with her life as an athlete. Let's look at this with an example. When Puma scouted Usain Bolt at the age of 16, he was already on track to becoming one of the best athletes of all time. He even went on to win 100 meters and 200 meters in Berlin after signing the deal. Puma later remarked that they'd seen a boost in sales following their branding deal with Usain Bolt. The same can be said about Livy in a sense. Her sponsorship with Body Armor, for example, has actually really helped the sports drink company, but not because Livy's gone on to win any championships. It's just because she has a massive social media following. And what's even more ironic is the fact that Livy's virtually stopped promoting the side of her life where she's actually competing in events, partly because her stats have dropped so drastically, and mostly because she's realized what people on the internet really want to see. Livy's social media is now filled with raunchy images and thirst traps. Did you know that LSU had to change its rules about gymnasts entering the stands during their college meets because of Livy? That's right. On January 2023, a group of artistic gymnasts fans, people who had absolutely no interest in gymnastics, but only wanted to see Livy perform, came to the LSU's season meet at Utah and caused a commotion when they got rowdy with actual gymnastics fans. To the young athlete's credit, she actually took to Twitter later on and asked her fans to be more respectful when coming to any of her competitions. Based on the very definition of what it takes to become a star, Livy is a star. However, it has nothing to do with gymnastics, and several people have made a note of the fact and asked the NCAA to take her images off campaigns. If the goal was to highlight gymnastics, Livy's got that covered, but fans of the sport take issue with how Livy's gotten there. If you take a look at her Instagram profile, you'll see that most of her posts resonate with artistic gymnastics is when she performs beachnastics. That's actually a term she's coined, which is basically just Livy doing backflips and headstands while dressed in a swimsuit. Between that and brand deals, Livy's Instagram is basically a collection of photo shoots, selfies, and images of her going about town. Little to nothing to do with her career as a gymnast, which is weird for someone considered the face of the entire sport. Things aren't any different on TikTok either, and fans of the sport think Livy's fame is concerning for young athletes. At 21, the LSU gymnast has made more money than many athletes could ever dream of. She's constantly getting brand deals, recognized on the street, and despite being an average gymnast, has her face plastered on banners for all of LSU's meets. Over on TikTok, Livy participates in social media challenges, has slow-motion videos of herself dancing, and posts videos talking about her life. Is there something wrong with what Livy's doing? Not really, no. But fans of the sport aren't concerned about Livy's social media activity. More so the fact that young gymnasts are aspiring to be like her. They've uncovered that the secret to becoming a successful athlete isn't really to be a good athlete, but to sell their brand. Which is by posting raunchy photos, racy photo shoots, and talking about mindless stuff on the internet. Livy's success has gotten to a point where aspiring athletes are assuming that it's a lot more important to become a social media icon than an athlete. They're focused more on building a social media brand than improving their form and showing up to practice. Again, you have to remember that Livy's been largely absent from the gymnastics world, following her meteoric rise to fame, and experts believe that her gymnastics career is probably coming to an end after she graduates from LSU. Livy has every right to live her life the way she wants, but by calling her the face of the entire sport, it's undermining gymnastics, and fans aren't ready to stand for it. Fans are worried that the next generation of female gymnasts would be too busy selling themselves on the internet with anything and everything that has nothing to do with gymnastics. All because that's what apparently worked for Livy. All this begs the question of where the future of female college gymnastics is headed. So, from Livy's success undermining female gymnastics to the artistic gymnast becoming the world's most famous gymnast of all time, that was everything about how Olivia Dunne really became the face of college gymnastics.